Hey, yes, it's me. Let's see. What? This is my voice. This is me talking. No more screen. No more text on the screen. That'll be a lot easier for you guys to understand what I'm trying to say. About this, but let's forget about that because in this video, you'll be learning about Context Action Service, and Context Action Service is a pretty useful service. Well, for keybinds, really, it's a game service that allows a game to bind user input to contextual actions, or actions that are only enabled under some conditions or a period of time. But for an example is, let's say you have a door and the only way to open the door is if the player is close to the door. What you would do is use Context Action Service to bind and unbind the action, which is what's pretty useful about this, because you can bind and unbind all actions. Okay, so to get started, we're gonna make a simple script. By the way, for Context Action Service, since it deals with input, you can only use it in local scripts, and you want to go to your starter player and go to your starter player scripts and just insert a local script there. And now we'll set the variable for Context Action Service. We'll say local context action service, and variable is just basically what a variable essentially is a name that can hold a value. Yeah, that's essentially what it is. A name that can hold a value. And variables can be for numbers, strings, booleans, and data types, and more. It's pretty useful, and you'll be using it in every script. Most likely every single script. It's just like a shortcut, Anyways, local context action service equals game get service. Game get service is basically when I get the service, and that service is going to be named at context action service. So now we have the shortcut, because now instead of saying game get service context action service, all we really need to do is just say context action service, and now we have this in this one variable. So yeah, like I said, a shortcut. But after you finish typing that down, but now what we need is the function. So we'll say local function, and we'll call the function, we'll name it, say hello. In these parentheses, you need to put down these parameters. First one is action name, and then the next one is input state. We'll be using input state for this because if you don't use it, it's gonna fire twice. When you press the button once, it'll fire twice. You don't want that happening. Unless you want that happening, then skip this part. But yeah. Now what we'll type down is if input state equals enum dot user input state dot begin. Then, so if the input states equal begins, then here is where we type our script, the function we want this keybind to do, this action. And action will be just say hello, print hello. Now we have a function. Now skip a couple lines under that, and now we use ContextActionService to bind action. So now we'll bind, and there are 4 parameters for this bind action. The first parameter is the name. Name it whatever you want. I'll just name it, say, hello. Alright. The next parameter is the function you have here. Alright. The next parameter is this function here. So remember we called this function say hello. We'll put that down as say hello. The name of the binded action and hello down here. The next parameter is for mobile. If you want to create a button, like a touch button for mobile, you want to say true. But if you don't, you want to say false. In this case, I don't want that, so I'll say false, comma. And the last parameter is the key you want to bind. I'll use C. Make sure it's not capitalized. It's just any letter you want. T, V, or B, or A. I wouldn't recommend A since that's one of your controls to move your player, so I'll take back to C. And that's really it. This is all you need. We're finished. So now whenever we press C, hopefully whenever we press C, it'll print hello in this little output down here. So let's go test that out. So now we're in the game and we'll press C. As you can see, it prints hello once. So C, 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 C. Keeps on printing hello every time we press the button. So that's working perfectly, but let's do something more interesting. Let's make it change a color. Let's make it change this part's color to a random color. How about that? So to do this, we'll need to go back. So we have our part right here in workspace. You add a part, resize it, do whatever you want with it. It's in workspace. You go back to your local script and you change a few things. Here in local function, let's just change this to part color. I'll keep these parameters, we'll keep this, and we'll change inside here. So inside here, first of all, we need to go back up here and create another variable and just name it part. So local part equals game.workspace : wait for child part. So what I said here is wait for child basically waits for the part to load in to the game, and then basically that's all it is. It just waits for part to load into the game. Because if you don't wait for the part to load in the game, because sometimes this script could run before the part could load in and you'll have an error. Next thing is down here. We'll say part dot break color equals break color dot random. So now what this should do is every time we press C, it should change the part's color to a random color every time. And now the last thing we want to change is just this over here. Change it to whatever you want. Remember, this is just the name of the action, and this has to be the name of the function. Our function was part color. Put that down there, and we'll keep our keybind. And now, if we play, test it out, every time you press C, it should change this color to a random color. So, yep, as you can see, it's changing colors to random color every time you press C. I mean, oh yep, that's essentially what context action service is. There is actually, before I end the video, there's one more thing I want to show you guys, and that's the other function called unbind action. I almost forgot about it, but just remembered. So we'll say the same thing. Context action service called unbind action. And with unbind action, you don't need to put in it. You have to actually just put the function here. So part color. And now what we'll do is, as you can see, and now this is going to unbind the action. So basically, when you unbind an action, you basically turn it off. You turn off this key. So if I were to unbind this action right now, you wouldn't be able to change the part's color because the action is unbinded. We'll put a wait of 10, we'll just wait 10 seconds. So basically, bind action, see, we'll be able to change the part's color for 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, it'll unbind the action and we won't be able to change this color. Let's see, hopefully it works like the way I see it. So now, as you can see, we're changing the color, and after 10 seconds, it should not. So we're still changing colors. Very long 10 seconds. All right. Something's wrong. Oh, I know what's wrong. Okay, so actually you don't have you don't put the function's name. You actually put the binded action's name. So in this case, its name is change color. So over here we write change color. Make sure you have the binded action's name down here. And now if we test it, it should work. So now go over here, we'll press C. As you can see, I'm changing the color. And after 10 seconds, there we go, it stopped and I can't change it anymore. I'm pressing C and I can't change it. It's just not changing because I unbinded the action and turned it off. Well, that's it for this video. That's what Context Action Service does. I hope you guys learned something new from this video. I hope you guys have a better understanding of what Context Action Service is. This service can do many more stuff, but for right now, we'll leave it here. This is really the main thing you want to know about Context Action Service. It's like a better user input, like user input service. You're familiar with this. Well, some of you might be familiar with user input service. User input, but it's a lot better in my opinion. Context Action Service. Okay, I hope you guys I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you guys learned something from it. And I'll see you guys next video. Probably come out in months. I know I upload a video every 5 months. Please excuse me on that. I am trying though. Anyways, that'll be it for this video. But if you want to see me play video games, go ahead and tell me in the comment section. And horror game, action, doesn't matter. I'll play it.